the river that taught me to live again and Chu Yun. Have you ever carried something in your heart for so long that it slowly stole the light from your days? This is the story of a man who lost himself to the past until a single sentence from a child changed everything. Ko Chu Yun, in a small, peaceful village by the edge of a wide, gentle river, there lived a man named Daniel. Daniel was known as the best boatman in the region. Every morning, before the sun had fully risen, he would untie his boat from the dock and spend the day ferrying villagers across the water. Whether the river was calm or wild with storms, Daniel's strong hands and steady heart always guided people safely to the other side. The villagers trusted him completely, yet few knew the heavy burden Daniel carried, not in his hands or on his boat, but deep within his heart. Years ago, Daniel's younger brother, Michael, had drowned during a sudden storm on the river. Daniel had been there that day. He had tried to save him, but the current was too strong. Ever since, guilt had chained itself to his soul. Every time Daniel closed his eyes, he saw Michael's face, heard the roar of the storm, and wondered what he could have done differently. Days turned into years, but the weight never left him. Daniel began to move slower, his smile faded, and the fire in his eyes dimmed. The man who once laughed by the fire with the other villagers now sat quietly, his gaze often lost in the river's endless flow. One bright morning, as the sun cast golden ripples across the water, a little girl named Lila came running down to the dock. She was about 8 years old, with big curious eyes that seemed to notice everything. She stepped onto Daniel's boat and sat at the front, swinging her legs. "Uncle Daniel," she asked softly, "why do you look so sad all the time?" Daniel's hands paused on the oars. He looked at her, surprised by her honesty. With a sigh, he said, "I carry a heavy weight, child, a weight from yesterday." Lila tilted her head, her eyes full of innocence and wisdom beyond her years. "But uncle," she said gently, "if you carry yesterday, how will you see today?" Her words struck Daniel like a sudden gust of wind. He didn't reply, he couldn't. But all day, as he rowed across the river, her question echoed in his mind. That evening, Daniel sat alone on the riverbank. The sun was setting, painting the water in shades of gold and crimson. He watched the river flow endlessly toward the sea. The river never tried to hold on to what passed through it. It didn't cling to leaves, to raindrops, to fallen branches. It simply moved forward, always toward the horizon. A realization dawned on him. His past was like the river, but he had been trying to carry its stones in his boat. Those stones, his guilt, his regrets, were only weighing him down. For the first time in years, he considered what it would feel like to let them go. Not to forget Michael, but to stop punishing himself for something he could not change. That night, Daniel made a choice. He would remember yesterday, but not carry it. He would honor his brother's memory not by drowning in guilt, but by living fully for both of them. The next morning, Daniel rose before dawn. The air was crisp, the river calm. As he stepped into his boat, he took a deep breath and smiled at the rising sun. For the first time in years, he felt light. The villagers noticed the change almost immediately. Daniel's strokes grew stronger. His laughter returned, drifting across the water like music. He began to tell stories again, to sing as he rowed, and to greet every passenger with warmth. Lila still visited often, sitting at the bow of the boat. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they simply listened to the water. Daniel would glance at her and feel a quiet gratitude, knowing that her small question had opened a door in his heart. One evening, as the last light of day faded and the river shimmered under a blanket of stars, Daniel whispered to the wind, "I miss you, Michael, but I will live for the both of us." The past would always be a part of him, but it no longer ruled him. Reflection: in our own lives, we often carry yesterday's mistakes, losses, and regrets, thinking that holding on somehow honors what we've lost. But the truth is, the more tightly we hold the past, the more it keeps us from living today. Like the river, life is meant to flow forward. Yesterday is a lesson, not a life sentence. Honor your past, but don't let it hold you hostage. Let go of the stones in your boat so you can feel the lightness of the journey ahead. Because life is too precious and today is too beautiful to miss.